Can you improve your pottery without actually making pottery? Listen to this episode to find out. What is up, Shaping Nation? This is Nick Torres here. And on this episode of Shaping Your Pottery, I'm going to be talking about, can you improve your pottery without actually making pottery? Is that a possibility? What can you do to actually improve your pottery without making? So, a couple weeks ago, I was sitting outside waiting for my dog, take a poop, take a pee. And while I was sitting on my bench outside, my brother texts me. He says, "Is there a way to improve your pottery without actually making?" And he gave the example. He said, "Remember when we used to play baseball, how we would do certain things like throughout the day, even if we weren't actually practicing baseball. And doing those certain things would actually help us improve our baseball skills, you know." And he gave the example like we would go outside, take the bat, and we just swing the bat. And doing that simple action would actually improve our skills as baseball players. And immediately once he texted me that, three things kind of came to mind. So the first thing that came to mind was drawing or getting photos of either of pots that you like or just ideas that you want to maybe put into your pottery. So the reason why this works out so well to help you with your pottery is because if you know what you're trying to make, then it becomes that much easier to actually make it come to life, right? If you, let's just say, you go into making pottery and you go into the studio, but you don't really know what you want to make, so you just kind of start making. And half the process right there is probably you just thinking what to actually make. But beforehand, if you went into it knowing what you wanted to make already, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to make that vision come to life. It's the same thing. You don't have to actually be making pottery to improve your pottery to do this, right? So you can literally 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week, really. You could just spend time and just gather things that you want to add to your pottery, or maybe shapes or sizes that you want to maybe emulate into your own pottery. Gather that and just put it into maybe like a file, like, or maybe a Pinterest board, whatever it is, and just gather all that stuff because now you can look at that stuff as resources. The second thing that you can do, and I have also done as well, is simply watching YouTube videos or other people making pottery. So when I was a junior in high school or going into my senior year of high school, I couldn't do anything all summer because I had injured my knee. And because I was kind of bored, I only did two things really. I only watched a lot of videos about pottery and I also read. But because I was watching so many videos about pottery, what began to happen was that when I went back into my senior year that year, I was I was more ready than compared to last year because one, I had already had the experience of making pottery from the previous year, but two, I was literally watching pottery all the fucking time. So that simple action of just repeating that, watching and watching and watching, and I wouldn't just watch YouTube videos or videos about pottery. If I saw something that they were doing like on the wheel, I would practice it without actually practicing it. What do I mean by that? So, like the example I gave earlier with like baseball, where you just swing a bat, I did the same thing with my pottery. So, if I was trying to learn how to center, but I didn't have my wheel at the time, what I would do is I would match the the hand positions of the potter I was watching. I would match the hand positions. I would literally almost like visualize it in my mind, and I would just kind of practice the hand positions. And this simple thing of practicing the hand positions and watching other people do the pottery, it gets you into that mindset of when you are ready to and able to start making pottery, you can kind of almost model what they're doing because now you have it in the back of your mind. Say, oh, they did this, so I'm going to try this as well. And that's going to help you significantly to improve your pottery. And you're not even going to have to actually make pottery. It's just a simple act of practicing the movements that you're watching because that's going to get into your mind. It's going to get into your mind and it's going to stay there just by simply practicing the movements. Finally, the last thing that you can do to improve your pottery is getting around other potters, other artists. I didn't realize it until maybe a few months after starting this podcast. But after those few months, I realized that my own pottery was growing because I was simply being around other artists, other potters. And half the time I wasn't even really making pottery. I was making pottery like every other week because I just didn't want to recycle my clay. Who the hell likes recycling clay? But anyways, I simply by interviewing the potters, I was getting new ideas on how to actually improve my pottery. And same thing can be for you. If you can get around other potters, other artists, you're going to start getting new ideas on how you can actually apply that to your own pottery. You may see somebody do something, you're like, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm going to try putting that into my own pottery. And then you try it, and then boom. Now you have something that is either it's going to work for you or it's not going to work for you. But that probably wouldn't have happened if you didn't get around other potters. But a lot of you are probably asking yourself, how can I get around other potters? So here is something that I have been doing recently. So very recently, me and someone I know, someone that I've interviewed before, Sarah Connor, every week we kind of meet and we just kind of have like a little mastermind session together. We talk about pottery, we talk about our growth and what we want to achieve with our pottery, and we help each other, give each other ideas. And all I did was just I asked her, say, hey, do you want to do like a mastermind once a week where we just talk? And because we just talk and we just help us keep each other accountable. And I can't tell you how much this has helped me so much. It is wonderful that I do this every week. And I'm pretty sure it's helping her as well. It helps us keep each other accountable. And we also get to pick each other's brains when we're trying to make a new design for a pottery or try something new for our pottery. And simply just by being around each other, it just helps so much. So you can literally ask somebody, maybe somebody you're close with on Instagram, say, hey, do you want to talk about pottery once a week, once a month? I think that will really help us grow as potters, and then just don't be afraid to ask people that. Because if you can ask people that, then who knows? Maybe they might say yes, they might say no. But if they say yes, then it's a win-win for everybody. So to recap, the first thing that you can be doing is drawing or taking photos and just gathering that information of things that you like. The second thing that you can do is watching YouTube videos and then practicing the movements in the air. And just like when you're like around the house or just maybe sitting drinking coffee, just practice those movements without actually being on the wheel or hand building whatever. Finally, the last thing is just to get around other potters and that's probably where your growth is really going to start 10xing. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys next time.